I'm Vanessa. I am from TikTok, Canada. And if you've been living under a rock for the last year, TikTok is actually a short form entertainment platform, one of the fastest growing platforms across the globe, where people come every day to connect with users across different categories, across different communities, to find joy and to find creativity. And they're often rewarded back with the same. And it's not just users that come to our platform and people, it's businesses as well. In fact, we've actually seen quite a phenomenon around TikTok made me buy it. The hashtag has over 3.7 billion views and continues to grow. And we've actually seen with third-party studies that more than 74% of people will find themselves considering a product they do engage with on TikTok. And what does that mean for you? Well, actually, that means that there's a great opportunity for small businesses to connect with the communities and the different activities that mean the most to them. In fact, we have over 44 billion views of the hashtag small businesses, which is a great segue for my next guest. I would love to welcome my next guest, Kate. Kate is the owner and founder of Kate Hewko, an amazing company based out of Calgary, that is in Canada, for those of you that are across the globe. Kate got started in the mid-2010s, which is very weird to say, founding her company, and in 2016 founded her flagship. And she is known for her very bold style. In fact, you've probably caught her designs across many publications, including InStyle, Vogue Korea, Flair and Fashion Magazine, for those of you that are in Canada. And you've seen her wears across different celebrities like Miley Cyrus, as well as Adina Menzel, and of course myself. I'm wearing Kate right now. The reason why we invited Kate here is she is killing it on the platform, and we wanted to reach out to people much like her, hear from her experiences, and really just listen to the goodness that Kate has to offer to all of you. So without further ado, Kate, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so happy that your chiffon hoodie showed up in time.
I love it. I was so waiting for it. I was very excited. Clearly, I am one of the converts on the platform. I saw your phenomenal ad in my feed and was just taken with not only the bold style, but the great approach that you took to the platform, which is, again, why we're so excited to have you here. But I'd love for the rest of the audience for you to give us a little bit of background on how you got started, how Kate Hewko came to fruition, and a little bit of your journey so far.
So I'm actually a private label brand. What I do is I work with manufacturers directly to produce my own label, and I sell direct to consumer instead of wholesaling. I got into, I've been in the fashion industry for a really long time, went to fashion school, and in the mid 2010s, I don't even know how to say that. Like, I'm used to saying like the 90s or the 80s or something. Okay, so now we're in the 10s, which sounds weird, but I owned a clothing store where I sold emerging designers from across the globe, a really funky store based out of Calgary, Alberta. But at the time, there was no such thing as e-commerce. Well, unless you had like a major store and they were just getting online. And social media, Facebook was just introduced. So there was no way to get the word out like there is now. So it's a really big change from where I'm at today. That being said, trying to sell other people's brands, the margins were really slim. And I felt like I was marketing other people's brands for them instead of them putting their own marketing dollars in. So that's kind of where the Kate Hewko brand became, because if I'm going to spend marketing money and advertise, I want it to be for my own brand that I can control and at least get good margins on. So that's kind of how that emerged.
I love that. I think one of the one things I admire so much about you is how hands-on you are with your business and how passionate you are. And I'd love, just for the rest of the folks here, tell us a little bit about how you got started on TikTok and what your thought was about coming onto the platform.
So I am very strong on Facebook and Instagram. And I've been really sticking with that. And, as a business, you really do need to diversify. And I didn't really know where I wanted to go next. Initially, thinking about TikTok, I was thinking that it was for, the younger generation. My target market is usually people above 40. 40 to 60 is where people have money, where they want to experiment. There's not just following what everybody else is doing anymore. So I really love that target. And I wasn't sure if it was going to be on TikTok, but it was interesting. I started noticing everybody's got a stream with their friends, and I'm 40 and my friends are 40 to 55. And they were sending me all these different TikToks all the time. And I'm thinking, what is this? This is hilarious. And it just became something that was like daily sending TikToks to each other. So obviously these ladies are on TikTok and I wanted to check it out. So that's kind of what got me interested in the platform. Just knowing that I needed to diversify, and I wanted to be a part of what's new and upcoming. And I thought that TikTok was going to be the next thing.
I love that. And actually, one of the things that caught me about your brand on the platform was just the creative was so strong. I'd love to understand a little bit about your creative process. How do you think about bringing some of the work that maybe you're doing on other platforms to TikTok, or are you creating that new for the platform? How are you thinking about creating?
The thing that I found really different right away, and if we're talking about just organic, if you scroll to like the beginning of us on TikTok, you could tell we really hadn't been on the platform and didn't really understand it. And we were producing just pretty things, and that's not really what TikTok's about. TikTok's really about entertainment. Like, for example, when you're on Pinterest, you're looking for inspiration. When you're on Twitter, half the time you're looking for news. TikTok is entertainment. And so we needed to entertain. What's nice about what we do is our clothing is so loud that I feel like it already is entertainment on its own. So I've been lucky to be able to produce similar ads across Facebook and Instagram that actually do work for me on TikTok, just because the outfits are so loud and catch attention. But what you do really needs to be scroll stopping.
Definitely agree. And the patterns are exactly that. I think part of the appeal behind it. I also love that your creative fits in with, some of the body activism and the diversity activism that's happening on the platform. So I think it's just such a great audience and such a great fit. I love that you mentioned that, you came onto the platform and you'd already been doing some things across Facebook and Instagram. What do you think surprised you the most about the platform on TikTok in comparison?
What surprised me the most? It's just such a different platform. So like, I found the discovery tab really interesting, because when you search on TikTok, it is, a trend, and then a bunch of different people doing those trends and people spinning off of each other. And if you don't understand that that's how it works, you really can't make something for TikTok. So after we got on and we started, using the trends, it was interesting. We hired a new social media manager, and, she was avid on TikTok, and she got our group to get together and do this TikTok about, like, it was following a trend, but it was our own spin on it. And we have a group of 4 women ranging from Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z, I don't know, all the gens, and a boomer. And so we did a trend with our own spin about the different generations. And it was one of our first TikToks where we actually followed the trends, and we went viral and have over 700,000 views, which was really interesting and surprising to me, because I just didn't expect us being nothing on the platform. I think we had 7 followers when we posted that, and it just went bananas. And that led to more followers on other platforms, lots of traffic on the website, more views on all the other TikToks that we had done that I wasn't even proud of. I wish we had better stuff on there at the time, but we were really new and we just hit it. And now we're chasing the dragon, trying to do it again.
As an emerging business, I think it can be overwhelming when you think about coming onto a new platform. And I think you've done such a great job of embracing the platform. What advice would you have for other small and emerging businesses about getting started?
I mean, just getting started in general on social media, maybe I'll talk about. I know that when you're a small business and just starting out, you think you have to be everywhere. You want to collect traffic from every different place. But the problem is when you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to be good anywhere. And so you really have to make a decision what fits your brand the best. And for me, I am clothing, so it's very visual. So anything that is going to use photos or pictures is going to be the best way to promote my brand. And so at the time, TikTok didn't exist. So we started really hard in Facebook and Instagram. And the 2 other options for us would have been Pinterest and TikTok after going from there. And so I think it's really putting your eggs all in one basket in the beginning. Make sure you do research on that basket, make sure that it has the demographic that you need, and you're going to be able to showcase your products in a way that is going to be beneficial for you.
I love that. And peer-to-peer, to your other small businesses that are in the audience, what advice would you give them if they're thinking about getting started on TikTok? Or what thing do you wish you knew?
If we're talking about ads, don't be a button pusher. So you get in there and, you're really excited about your $50 you're going to spend that day. And then you keep looking at it, and then you're like, well, it doesn't seem like it's doing anything. And you start changing everything. What that does is screws up with the algorithm. And you're going to find that across Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You really got to give the algorithm time. So once you set it up, what you really want to do is wait a minimum of 3 days. Now, I would say 7 days because of the iOS changes. It's made it harder for tracking. And you really got to give it that time to let the algorithm do the work and not confuse it by pressing buttons every 5 minutes.
Patience and learning is key. I think that's one of the big mistakes we see when people, like you said, get really eager and want to be in the weeds, is you need to give the system some time to learn. So I think that patience really does pay off. I would love to learn a little bit more on the fun side of when you come to TikTok, what makes you LOL? And I'm definitely aging myself by asking that question.
Really, it's the stream that I share with my friends. There is just so much, like, there's no holds barred on TikTok, and I love it. I mean, like, I'm a very, like, I speak before I think. And I appreciate all the different creators that are doing that, because people want authenticity. They want to see real stuff. They want to hear swears. They want to see real life. They don't want to see a perfectly put together flat lay on TikTok. It is a completely different place, and it's a place for entertainment.
I totally agree. It's, a place that you come to sort of let loose and just sit back, or maybe you come on to create. One thing, I mean, I've spent a lot of time on your store, obviously. I'm a huge fan. One thing that I think is really neat is the integration that you've done with Shopify. Shopify has done a lot of great good in the market, specifically for small, medium businesses and businesses of all size. But we noticed that you've incorporated that into your strategy. Is this something that you've started testing it across multiple platforms? Is this something that you're doing on TikTok? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Shopify is just an incredible platform. I mean, if you're starting an e-commerce business, there's no question that that's where you go to. When you are advertising with different social media platforms, on your back end, you have that TikTok shop that you'll add. And that is a great way for TikTok and Shopify to speak to each other. It operates very similar to the one that Facebook and Instagram has to speak to each other. You always want to make sure you have that connected, so your pixels working properly, and you can see that, and you know that the information is crossing properly. That being said, I know that there's ways to directly advertise through Shopify. You can get on there and you can get into making an ad through that TikTok shop, but I really prefer working directly in the back end of the ads manager. I just think that you have everything you need there. It's not just a smaller, dumbed down version of it, but you definitely have to make sure that you have those Shopify integrations set up.
Let me think a little bit more about the campaign that you have live right now. And I know that it focuses around being bold, being unique. We see a lot of diversity across the platform. Where did the concept come from with the ad that you currently have? And for those that haven't seen it, I encourage you to visit the page. Sorry.
I love this question because we use our in-house people for our ads. And like I was saying, we have every generation of female here. We're all fashion lovers, and that's what we have in common. So we all will put on, an outfit, and we all are just excited about it. So we had the opportunity to use every age group in our ads, because we've got, great girls who are totally willing to, step up and be in one of the ads. So we've tested using all sorts of different models. And what we found is we use Krista. She is 63 and a bombshell. She's amazing. She makes everything look good. And I just love her age, because she shows people that there's no age on clothes. There's no limits. There's no restrictions. And I think that she's the scroll stop, because we've tested the same ad. And what we do in our testing is we'll just change one element, and then we'll test both and see which one the algorithm picks up, which one people are, responding to the best. And it's Krista every time. And I think that it's just, people are really liking to see something different and feel like, you know what, I can do that too. It's inspirational for people.
I agree. I think it was Krista that actually stopped me in my tracks when I was scrolling through my feed. I just thought it was so different and bold, and it just kind of fit in again with the ethos of what I'm seeing, at least in my For You page, which is likely a lot different than a lot of folks because of that algorithm.
Right.
I mean, I would love to ask you one more fun question, and I like to ask this of everybody. What is the thing that you love most about TikTok as a user, not as a brand?
Well, I mean, we're getting back to the entertainment thing, really. But it's so much different for every user. I find because I employ so many different ages, it's a business platform, right, for us. And so we're all in there looking through different TikToks. And so the algorithm's probably like, what is going on right now? Because this person, Kate Hewko, makes absolutely no sense because we have everyone from 21-year-olds to 63-year-olds at our store looking on it. So it's always a lot of different surprises. And sometimes I'm like, what am I actually looking at? Because the 21-year-old has way different things that she's interested in. So it's just really neat how the algorithm can pick up what you would be interested in.
I definitely agree. It's sometimes a very revealing moment when you ask people what's in their For You page, and not everyone loves to answer. So thank you so much for being so honest and answering that. Listen, I really appreciate the time that you've taken to chat with us. And I know that my audience is eating up every word here. I would love to leave them with some sage advice. If you had one thing that you can say to everyone listening here today at LaterCon, one piece of sage advice, Kate, what would you tell them about getting started on TikTok?
I think spend time on it. Just spend the time, look through the Discover page, let the algorithm get to know you, see how it works. Going into something cold turkey and thinking you can just throw some content in is not going to work. And I think that while you're doing it, you're going to be pleasantly entertained.
Amazing. And thank you, Kate, for those of you who missed it. Kate Hewko, owner of Kate Hewko Concepts.